YouTube. This is an edited video. I had something on my mind, and it's just been brought to my attention. um, Everybody looking for the excellent dog, and I get it. You know, you spend your money for whatever you spend for. You want it to be at least to check off the. Excuse me, I just got done eating. To check off the everything that you don't assess, to check it off at least halfway there, whatever you don't spend on it. But my thing is this: why nobody don't do like the old school way anymore? They don't try to build toward that excellence. They want something now. If it ain't now, I don't want it. I'd rather build toward that excellence, because that way it'll be well worth, and then you can always go back and see what you don't build, and then you still, as you still making corrections to the errors in your program, you get to see what you did wrong and what you could have did better. Certain dogs, you said, oh man, I could have put that to bed. If I tighten up on just typically, it's always the dad side you tighten up on. But if just say, if I tighten up on the mother side, I could be here within that amount of time. So a lot of people are looking for the excellent dogs, and it's hard to really have, even with being a top-notch breeder, as we don't see some across the world. Mainly a lot of them overseas, a lot of them in the USA too. Don't get me wrong, salute to all y'all, because I always got to get credit where credit's due. Regardless if I like you or not, I got to get that credit. But a lot of people, when they buy dogs, they looking for the excellence. And what I'm saying, they looking for a perfect dog. You're not going to get a perfect dog every single time. It's hard. Even if you got two solid parents, man, sometimes they gonna throw mediocre dogs. That's just how it's gonna be. And one thing I hear my God say, and this big shout out goes to my man. I can't think of his name, but I'll follow you. I'm gonna try to think of his name. God, I can't remember his name. Corsos or something, but he be talking about all different type of, not only his typical dog that he raised and breed, but he had a guy on his channel, an older guy, and he was just saying, when you breed two dogs, male, female, you're going to pull back from two generations off both sides. So hopefully out of them two generations, out of both sides, these dogs were good. And then again, you're still going to be that hit and miss. So you got to take the good with the bad and the bad with the good. That's why I always say I'm willing to go to the drawing board if something didn't work out. So if I made a pet, I made that exceptional. I made that exception that I made a pet. That's fine. And I don't see pets become straight gaslight. Just straight gaslight. Just be one little scenario that'll click them and that gene, click down in that gene pool, them genetics, where to click in. I don't seen it too many times. And I always say this: if you get a dog from us, and when I mean us, me and the dog and the program, they typically, as they get older, they get better. And that's one thing I like about these dogs, the Sinclair Slim Jim dogs. And then also I crossed it out with my old stuff. They get better as they get older, especially that pure stuff. But everybody's looking for an excellent dog, man. And me, and that's their preference. I ain't mad. I ain't saying anything bad, but I'd rather build on something, because you looking for that moment dog. And when I call moment dog, you know how some dogs just had that hot streak, and then you get to start breeding them to everything. You think you're gonna get the same exact thing that you bred them to. You don't get nearly as close to what you got. So give me that dog that I can kind of build off of, and then I can see improvement every time I breed her to, or him to something. I can see improvement, because if like I say, this is my pet peeve. If I don't have anything to build off of, then how can I even start anything from scratch? How can I even start my fire if I don't got anything to build off? If they giving me something to build off, I don't care if it's just wind, if it's obedience, I don't care if it's, awareness. I don't, something, a couple of traits or qualities that they can give me. If they ain't giving me nothing, where they don't listen, they don't, you know, they just, too playful when you get serious with them and all that type of stuff. I can't build off of that. Somebody that can show me that I can build something off of, then I can use that in my program, and I can add, I can take away. And that's another pet peeve that I say, that's all you doing when you breeding. You just add and taking away stuff. And what I mean stuff is the breeding percentages in the dogs. You just add and taking away. And we all know that trying to get an excellent dog, a lot of them dogs nowadays, they ain't, to me, in my opinion, this is my own opinion, they just not like the dogs that we was getting back then. A lot of people say they better than they were back. I don't see it. I really don't even see it. You got a lot of good dogs now. That's great. They are, I'm gonna say what they do have. They are very, prey driven, kind of more than they were back then. Because certain dogs back then, certain bloodlines, you had to wait till they got a certain age for them to be able to, or to even be able to click on. Now these dogs, the way they breeding and the way they, combinations of the breeding, the blending, they are turning on early, faster. I can say they look like probably like a little bit more athletic, maybe. That's really about it. But my old school version, what I like of the old school dogs is tougher hide. They had more grit. They had more heart. And why I say that, because back then, whenever they was doing, schooling them and all that other stuff, man, you could put a dog on, man. Some dogs were 30 pounds bigger than other dogs, and he'd get in there, take a beat, and come back and be on top. The littlest dog, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't no weight class then. That's why I say it's tough. Now you put a dog on a certain weight class, man, it ain't gonna kind of be the same. And a lot of dogs, they was very durable. That durability, man, that was a factor. And that's why I like my blood so much, because the durability they have. And that's why I like this strand of dogs that I have, the Lonzo Green Eli Bolio, because it has the durability. And that's why the guys, they bred heavy. On the inbred side, on certain dogs, they bred heavy. And I like the concept of what they had, what they brought to the table. And I see why they did a bunch of brood breeding, because, if anything happens to your yard, just per se, it can get kennel coughs or something. Or, I ain't never had that, but they can get that. And all of them dogs, you can have some bad dog food. They had recall, you didn't know it, and you gave your dogs that, and they ended up dying from poison. And you got this one dog, or one or two may live, to just say a female lived, or just hypothetically speaking, and then you got this puppy around 7-8 months, he was able to live, and you got your yard back all right over again by that brood breeding that you done, right back over. And it could be possibly just as better what you previously has bred. So, but all in all, man, I just wanted to, get on here and just, give my little input on everybody always looking for an excellent dog, just because they not acting a certain way, or just because they won't work. I seen a lot of dogs were great freaking dogs, even the ones that didn't like to even work or condition. They was great dogs. And when I'm talking about, I tell you this story all the time when I do a video. Ferguson Centipede is like one of my all-time dogs. Some more of them are, but the dog, if you read the bio on the dog, he didn't like to work out, but he was a great companion. He was a great, farm animal. He was a great pet. But whenever he was, asked to, do this, do an observation, man, he was great at it. Great, super great, without even going through, the assessments. the conditioning, the dieting like that. I mean, they probably dieted him, but I'm just saying the conditioning, because he didn't like the condition. So, and he was able to still, do the observation. So it's that's why I say, man, you can't worry about sometime. And I did an old video on, about the dog, how the dog, stop worrying about how the dog acting and worry about how the dog becoming. And I say that wholeheartedly, because that's all we worrying about. I don't feel like waiting on him. He should have been did something. By now, so I'm gonna give you an analogy. I got a dog that I kept. Nobody really didn't want him. I ain't gonna say nobody wanted him like that, but I ain't gonna force nobody to buy one. But out of this not the previous litter I had, out of Sky and Obsidian, but the Obsidian and JoJo, they are half brother, half sister. On the bottom, they got the same mother, second cousins on the top. So it's really, inbred, line bred, but a male that I was gonna get rid of. So I ended up keeping him. So and when I had him on the chain, he was acting, normal. I don't see him kind of get crunked up a little bit in his own little way. I can tell you about a story. I had his brother on, his little mate brother, the one I kept, Peanut. I had him. I put him on the chain. He had a collar on him. So what happened is I had the dad gonna take him off because he was were trying to jerk from that collar. He had rubbed his skin back, so it was all the skin, all that old fur and stuff. So I had to take him off, and it's all that stuff healed up now. I gave him a little antibiotic, it healed up. So what happened that day, I let him go, and he went up there to my man dog. She hit him, and I had to get him off of him. And then he went over there to his half sister Light. She got him, and he went over there with his other half sister, which is Big Mama. That's Light's sister. She got him, and so I had to get her off of him, because them dogs, they get intensified if they see something going on, and they want a piece of action too. So. And it was just one of them things that happened on the yard. It wasn't, planned or anything like to say. I don't condone and all that. But if something do happen like that, I can address it quickly, because I know what to do. I don't seen it happen multiple times. But anyway, so I put his brother on there. His brother ain't never been on the chain about not even a week yet. And I'm glad he ain't did what his brother did. So hopefully. But anyway, I put his brother over there on that chain. He acting like a totally different dog from being loose and now on the chain, because I think the dogs, like, pit bulls, they are very territorial. So, some of them, they are good, especially some of the adult dogs, they are good with puppies, but then again, there's something triggering them. They just like, I might hit this puppy. That's why you gotta be careful, because they in that defensive mechanism may kick in at any given time. But anyway, so his brother over there, they about the same size. He's just, the other dog, call him Stretch. He's a little bit taller, maybe it's a couple centimeters taller, and then longer, and then Peanut is more thicker, and a little, like I say, a couple centimeters short. But anyway, he went over there with him, and he was screaming like, and I did it again to see if, what he was gonna do. So I took Peanut over there. He was trying to get him. So that prey drive is kicking in, and that's what you want to see. So, like I said, man, we tried to have these excellent dogs, man. We always want these excellent dogs. I got to get these excellent dogs instead of trying to build something. If you get a good, solid dog from a breeder that's been doing it for a while, understand it's a blood inside out. And, the dog, he may not be what you want in some aspects, but at least he giving you something, and that's one of the main things. And sometimes too, I ain't gonna rule out some things, some of this bloodline just don't work for you. You just don't like it, and I get it. You just don't like it, and sometimes it be like that where you just like, nah, this ain't working for me. I'm just right now, I just don't like this blood that I have, and you just move on to something else. But we gotta stop trying to look for that excellent dog, that perfect dog all the time, and try to build or try to trust the process and where you got your dogs from. Because if you don't, man, you're going to still be running in circles. I don't see a lot of people, next thing you know, they got this. Next thing you know, they got that. And, you know, it's just one of them things, man. It's one of them things. But, yeah, let me get off here. I done did about 15 minutes, and I had a daggone flat tire. And so I had my guy, one of my good friends I know I work with at the last job. He come to pick me up with his dolly or whatnot. But I hope y'all love the video, and stop trying to chase that excellent dog, and try to build the dog, build your bloodline up. That's why I don't chase champions. I don't chase winners. I want to make them. I don't know if I can not, cause my tire. Oh. But y'all have a good one. Hope y'all enjoyed the video. Hope I broke down much as I can, and y'all have a wonderful, peaceful night. All Will Kittles of the Carolinas at your services.